I was thinking about what Elon Musk is doing and how he does it. He promises you these cities on Mars, new civilizations, right? We're going to terraform that planet, turn it into an habitable world, the multiplanetary humanity. These are huge promises, but he doesn't really achieve anything. The technology to go to Mars is not there, contrary to what people are saying. We don't have a way of just flying to Mars and living there at all. We can't even go to the moon yet. So he gives you these very big, otherworldly visions that you're supposed to buy into. So you buy a Tesla, right? And you think it's fine that the US funded Musk with $40 billion in subsidies, so it's not really a real company, right? He was subsidized. The problem with this is, to me, it's too far-fetched. It's all the way out there in space while we're not doing anything really meaningful on Earth. Here on Earth, we are just sitting ducks waiting for the mass immigration to flood our countries, to Islamize us. It's almost as though we're being distracted in a way. We are, sucked into the Elon Muskian world of Mars, which I like. I like the Mars science fiction movies and the idea of going there. But to really spend all my money on that dream while we're being raped with immigration is a very, very strange thing to do. It is not right. So my idea is we need to focus our attention back onto what is feasible and doable and practical. We need to focus on the practical reality here on Earth. What can we do here that is best? And for a while, just ignore the whole space stuff. No matter how cool and interesting that is, I think it is a distraction. I think it is designed to be a distraction. Star Trek, Star Wars, Pandora, Avatar. You want to go there, you want to live in that world, but the more time you spend dreaming about being in another dimension, really, right, in this dimension of space travel and science fiction, you are obviously not doing anything for yourself right here on Earth in this very present moment. And that's what I want to change. What we need to do in Europe, imagine if we would pool our attention, first of all. I'm not even talking about money, but we pool our psychological attention, our consciousness together and focus it on Europe, on the situation in Europe, for example. What would we really want to do? How would we want life to be here? We would want to have our young people to have housing. Why don't we just fix that first? If we can't even give young people housing on Earth, what are we doing building cities on the moon? Come on. We need to focus on these things, right? Focus on the practical. We want to have perhaps a bit more exciting lives. Now there's a theory here, right? So you can have the heroic life, but it's not for everyone. But there should be room for heroism for those who want it. There are cities in what I would call the old Germanic world, in Germany, Switzerland, Austria. You have these small towns, 5,000 people, all right? And they have laws that you can't flush your toilet at night because it's too loud, it's too noisy, you don't want to wake up the neighbors next door. And so there's, on the one hand, that quiet life where you work from 9 to 5, then you eat at home, and that's it. You watch some TV and you keep quiet after 7 p.m. or after 8 p.m. You just keep quiet until the morning comes again and you start doing work again. And on Sunday, you go to your small little church in the village. That life sounds a lot more boring than going to Mars and building a new planet, new civilization, right? And I think this is a sort of elite problem. If you are extremely wealthy, if you're a billionaire, you've got everything, you've got nothing more to do, you get frustrated maybe with that simple life, and so you start fantasizing about, space travel, and you want to build Mars bases or whatever, a new university, I had pneumonia, so I'm going to keep it short, but I used to write some science fiction as a teenager, and it was all just fantasy, right? And I think if you have the luxury to fantasize, to spend hours fantasizing about stuff like that, that's great. But for ordinary people, it is meaningless. We're not going to go to Mars. We're not going to live on the moon. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to do space travel. There's another theory by Ed Regis, who wrote a book about pathological technology, says that space travel is a pathology. It's an illness, because you can spend infinity amounts of money on it and infinity amounts of energy on it. For example, a trip to the next star with one spaceship, you would require about 300 years of Earth's present energy use. You'd have to save that up. What we use in 300 years, you'd have to save that up, put that on a spaceship to be able to fly to the next star. Ridiculous, right? Those are the sort of the measures, the quantities of effort that we would have to put into space travel, which is totally unrealistic, right? That's just not going to happen. So Ed Regis calls space fantasies pathologies, illnesses, precisely because we can throw all our money, wealth, material, resources at it without achieving anything. It's like throwing your money into a bog, right? And then without having children, so you die out. It's a dead end, and I think that's what a lot of the space stuff is. The Mars travel, the moon travel. No matter how exciting it is, I would like to go to Saturn and fly around the rings of Saturn, do a ring race with my spaceship around the rings of Saturn. I can imagine all sorts of things, right? And I suppose you can too. It's all very, very cool and interesting when you're dreaming at night. But then when you wake up, you live in this world. We don't live in that fantasy la-la world, and we're not going to be there anytime soon, and probably never. Very likely, I would say never. It's never going to happen because of the physics. The energy equations the math doesn't math. It doesn't add up. We will not be able to do space travel meaningfully. An ambition sink, you might call it like that, yeah. Young people want to do something exciting, cool, and they dunk all their ambition into this black hole, and then it just disappears and you've achieved nothing. So this is perhaps a good point that we should, as a society, direct people's ambition and energy toward feasible goals. So bring back the feasible, the human measure, the practical, the achievable, the doable, right? Figure out what those things are. And there, I think religion, Earth religion, can play a role in guiding that and say, look, that's nonsense and that's nonsense. Trust us. This is what we can do, and you can spend all your ambition on that, all right?